Hello guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm gonna be starting a series called What is Civilization Restarted. This is based off Addis Pro's series, What is Civilization Started Over. So, yeah, it's not gonna be the exact same, but it's gonna be kind of similar. So first of all, we are going to have first civilization pop up near this lake over here. And they're going to start exploring this land. And after this population gets up to about 100,000, we have the first nation appearing, and it's this red nation. And they put a king in charge, and they also put a capital, which is basically like the most important city and where everything's at. So most population, everything. So it's over here where the king lives. And then every single time there is a capital, there's going to be a major city put. Major cities are like capitals, but less important. But there's always going to be a major city under the capital, because if the capital moves or something like that, then the major city will still be there. So yeah. And after the population hits to about like 300,000, they start expanding and exploring more. They're mostly exploring. Eventually, they explore down here and see that this is... They can pretty much tell that it's a lake or whatever. So, great discovery for them. And they go up to the tip of the UAE, or what would be the UAE, since this is like... It's not the UAE because, well. So they wrap around here, they discover these lands, and yeah. And then they continue to expand over down here, and everyone's mostly happy. And then we even have a major city being put down about right here, and then there's also one put here. But then we can see that some people want to go into the UAE, or where would the UAE would be. So then they decide to go over here and go over here to the UAE, or where would be the UAE, and they establish their own country, and they even border the red country now, which the king of the red country hears this news and says, okay, well, we'll just leave them alone for now. And then they do not have a king, actually. They are a direct democracy, and the capital is where all the votes are going to be held, as this population is only about like 1,000 for the blue country, even though the land is super big. And they're going to be put right here. And more people start moving over here, so then the population cranks up to about like 5,000. But it still isn't a lot compared to the red country, which is like 300,000. So the blue country decides to expand more because they have to fit some more peoples. Eventually they stop expanding and they just stay here for a while. While the red country, their king still wants to keep expanding, so they do, expanding great numbers by sending out lots of people, explorers, to claim land for the red country. And eventually we have the first government being set up, as before it was just one ruler, and now there's a government set up in the red country, which means they have a military. They immediately invade the blue country to get some land back, but then the blue country says, okay, we'll give you the land that you've conquered if you leave us alone, and they accept that. So the blue country also establishes a government, so then no one like the red country can invade them. And they also put a major city around where some other people are living, because this has the most population, and then this is the point where a lot of population is as well. So they also do that. And by the way, the blue population has probably increased to about like 10,000, so the direct democracy might not last for too long, as there's a lot of people coming to this country, and it's a lot for them. But then eventually we have the red country deciding to send about like 75% of their population to go out and explore, which brings their land pretty big, and they even Caspian Sea, or what would be the Caspian Sea over here. And they decide, okay, so we're gonna draw a map of where we're gonna claim our territories. So they just start drawing the border, and the people have to follow this border, so then, you know, they can actually know where they stop going, because then that would be unknown land. So they start drawing this border, and it takes a long time before the border can actually be finished. But after like 10 years or something, they finally finish the border, and then the red country finally claims all of it. And now they're really big, which is the problem, as they force people to move over there, and these people don't really like it. So, but the people over here in the Caspian Sea area really do not like this at all. So they decide, okay, since you want to be like that, we're going to declare independence, and that's what they do. They declare independence, and the king can't really do anything about it because the government can't reach there all the way, because they're going to be stationed all in the capital. And they declare their independence, and they decide to wrap around the Caspian Sea even more. But then they have to eventually stop, as they cannot go too far into the Caspian Sea and wrap around it. But they make it pretty far, and they look like this right now. And then they establish their capital, which will be right here where their king lives. So right now, the only country that's a direct democracy is the blue country. See if that lasts. But eventually, we can see over here, we have some small revolts happening over here, but they get crushed until another one starts, and it's going to be this bluish country, like this dark bluish country. And they declare independence, and they start expanding into the Sinai Peninsula. And they declare independence. And, yeah, so before they establish a capital, they do something weird, and they actually establish a major city where they're going to put their capital, basically. But then they decide to not finish that construction, because they find another city that will be good for their king to live, or like they haven't decided what they will be yet, but eventually they go back and actually finish the construction of that major city, and eventually they are able to put their capital in this major city right here. So then the this country keep expanding a little bit more, and eventually they keep going and expanding into the red country as they go down here as well. And then they go over here into Africa, and they go around the coast of Africa, eventually filling in some spots inside deeper into Africa. But then they also send out explorers over here in this region, but they haven't claimed the land yet, since they don't really know about it a lot, but they know it exists. So now the red country doesn't really like this, but you know, they can't really do anything about it. So then eventually blue country decides they're distracted, so we're going to invade them. So they start invading them, and then eventually government is able to run up to them and say, stop it, or else we're going to attack you, and they do. But they refuse to give the land that they gained from there, so the red team just lost one of their major cities, and the people here aren't really mad about it. But the thing is, they can't really get over to the capital to make decisions, so they decide to put another poll over here where people can also vote, and also one here in the other major city. So it is going actually really good for the blue country. And eventually they turn into a representative democracy as the population of the blue country goes to about 50,000 people. Which means they're gonna have to fight over who's the president. Well, vote. But there's no parliament, so it's gonna get real messy soon if they have a tie or something like that. But yeah. And then they eventually start claiming more stuff down here to expand their country. And they expand a lot into Saudi Arabia, or what would be Saudi Arabia. But this isn't Saudi Arabia, though. This is like more like Yemen and Oman type of stuff over here. So keep expanding over here, and eventually we can see that the red country finally notices and is like, okay, we gotta expand as well, or else we are going to collapse. Well, not collapse. Well, that's what they think. Little do they know that their expansion is gonna make them collapse. But this dark bluish country over here notices this and decides to claim over here, so they can't reach the ocean over here. Well, they think it's an ocean. Also, yeah, the blue country also made it to Djibouti. Okay. Red country is now left to get the rest of this. Well, the rest of Saudi Arabia. Yeah, they're growing pretty big. But, some people want to go north. And the king says, okay, fine, we'll send people to take land. So that's what they do. They send people to go and explore over here north. And they eventually found, like, this wraps around over here. And that becomes, like, a lot of people go there to just fish. Stay while they fish, and then once they have enough for, like, a month, they go back and then they, redo it. But eventually, people were saying, we should go further north. But the king says no. So, some people go there anyways, and they just leave. And they start going out so then they can make their own country and do what they want. So they decide, okay, we're going to go over here. But they say it's way too hot. And they don't really like that. So, some people go on the islands. But they're never really seen again as they're on the islands and no one goes there to check up on them, so we don't know what's going to happen over there. But then they start going further north, and eventually they reach the Balkans. But they keep going north, and they go into Crimea, and some people say, okay, yeah, this is good enough, and they establish their own country over here. But some people don't really like that it's still not cold enough for them, so some people still go north away from Crimea, and they start going over here, and eventually they reach modern day Kaliningrad, and we can see them establishing a new country over here. They put their capital around over here in Kaliningrad where they first started, and that means that there's going to be a major city also put there. Bam. And now the yellow team has to figure out their capital. But since it's the same color, the capital is the same color as the country, I'm going to have to change the color, which I'm going to change it to this color. And for major city, we're going to have to put it there, and there you go. And back to over here to this dark bluish country. They finally figured out where they're going to be, and they're going to be a theocracy, which means it's their thing is based on religion. So now I have to introduce you guys to the religion map. But I'm not gonna do the religion map yet, mainly because that's gonna take a little bit to do. So I'll show you guys next episode of what the religion map will look like. But yeah. So they finally figured out what they're going to be. So then they keep expanding over here. And eventually they stop expanding and they're just now peaceful. Red Country finally decides to go a little bit north to make their people happy. But then after they do this, they notice that no one got happy about this. They're asking where did all the people that wanted to go north go? And they said they went north anyways and established their own countries. Red King is not really happy about this, so yeah. But over people in the green team, well, the green country saw them over here and they said, "Oh, they went over there." And the red country starts invading the green country because they didn't stop them. That's what they said, and the green country said that they had no business in doing that, but they still invade anyways. And the green country is since they don't have a government yet, as most countries don't have them right now, except for the blue and red country, they're pushed all the way over out from where they first started. And they make a peace treaty with the red country, and they have to give up the land that they lost in the war. So to make up for it, they keep wrapping around the Caspian Sea, and eventually they are able to wrap fully around the Caspian Sea. And now they're basically called the Caspian Sea country. But some people decide, okay, let's go over here, and they found like a lake over here, which now that's part of their country, which it has like a direct path to, which lots of people go there to also fish as well, like they do with the red country. And they even go thick out these lines over here to make sure that they can't get split off, like what happened very recently. But yeah. And now we can see some people over here in the islands. They decide to meet up over here and officially make their country. And this is going to be a very dark purple, like not very dark purple, but a dark purplish country. And this is how big their country is right now. And they don't have enough people to make a capital yet, but they're working on it. And then some people got lost over here while they were going up into Kaliningrad. So, they decided to go over and find a place to make their country because they got left behind because they were hunting while the other people decided to not hunt and just get there as fast as possible. So they eventually end up over here, but they say, okay, well, we don't really like this land. We're going to go over here. And then they eventually say, okay, we're so tired, let's just stop moving. And they set up their own country over here, where Italy would be. And they eventually expand a little bit deeper into Italy as well. And they go down pretty deep into Italy, kind of like they're creating the Roman Empire or something. But they even, whoa, that was not supposed to happen. They even get Sardinia and Corsica over here, and eventually they go all the way down here, all the way into Sicily, but they don't know what the island of Malta is yet. And they even go over here where they stopped and they conquer the land over here. And they even conquer some unknown land at this time. And lots of people move over here, and they even establish a capital right here, which means that we're going to have a major city here as well. And that is it. That is going to be it for this episode, for the first episode of Civilization Restarted. See you guys in the next episode. Put your suggestions in the comments of what should happen next. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.